Welcome back to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. This week's episode will probably be a little short. We're just going to talk about a little bit of LVO stuff, what we've been doing. I know that I've been getting a couple of questions from different people about LVO, so I figured this is a good place to answer them right before LVO, so in case other people have those same questions. So we'll go ahead and jump on into it. And as always, I have the momentous panda of Aubrey here wearing his Mayhem chopper shirt as well. How we doing, Aubrey?
Yes. So for those of you who are not just dear listeners but watching on the YouTube, which we sometimes put out and sometimes don't, I still haven't figured out what when we do and when we don't. It's okay, it's fine. But I am wearing a Chopper Mayhem shirt that was made by one of the members of our community. So if you're looking to get your very own Chopper or Sabine shirt, I almost bought the Sabine shirt too, but my bank account informed me that it was unable to complete that transaction this month. so so I got the one shirt. I got the one shirt. Yeah. No,
Nice.
the Todd stuff needs to stop breaking because the oldest's car broke again in a different way on its way to the mechanic to fix the first problem. That's how that's
Nice.
going.
Nice. Yeah, car problems are always fun. I mean, I haven't really had a lot of those other than, like the standard, oh, this part went out, need to replace it. I haven't had like literally crazy problems. I was running a tournament last month and the battery went out in my wife's truck. So, and she sends me a message. I'm like, I can't fix it from here. So,
Well, hey, at least it's a battery. That's
right.
pretty straightforward in most vehicles, like not EVs or whatever. But
Yeah.
come on,
I mean, and the nice thing is like
that's
she doesn't like messing with electricity much, so she doesn't do batteries. Um, but nowadays, like especially, I don't know, like everywhere else around the country and world, but the most auto part shops nowadays, if you buy the battery there, they'll just replace it for you. They'll just go out and swap the batteries for you. So like you just have to get the jump to get there and then they'll do the work for you. So that's usually pretty nice.
yeah. If you don't want to do it yourself, but also it's usually take off the two connectors and take the battery out and put the battery in. Like
Yeah.
I get not wanting to mess with electronics, but like even I can do this one, and I'm not mechanical by any definition. Like I can do some things. Like if you give me a YouTube video, I could figure out a lot of stuff. I've replaced starters. I've replaced uh like I've done my own oil change and stuff. Although I just like pay it. I don't know about you, Todd. I don't like doing oil changes anymore. Like I used to like do that to save money, but it doesn't save that much money. My time is more valuable at this
Right,
stage of my
right.
life.
And you can go like there's those drive-through places where you just pull in, sit in the car, they do it in like 15 minutes and you pull out and the oil change is done. It's like, yeah, no, don't even it's just worthwhile to not worry about that. So, yeah. No,
Yeah.
overall, but yeah, I don't know. So, I know since we are what? We are driving out we're recording Sunday. I'm hoping to get this out on Monday. We will be driving out to LVO Wednesday morning, so that we are there first thing Thursday morning to start our setup and everything like that. So it's you, me, and Tater going to be driving out, and he's going to help us like set with a setup and tear down and everything like that. So should be interesting. I mean, I think we're about ready. It's like I was sitting there packing up all of the awards that we did anyway, and getting those ready, like kind of like ready for transport and everything along those lines. And I'm like, are we ready for this? There was a little bit like a brief moment of dread of like, can we pull this off, Aubrey? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we give everybody like a decent event.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing, Todd. I know this is our first time doing this at LVO and our first time doing this for Shatterpoint, but come on, Todd. How many MCP events have you run like Do you even know the number?
At least 10 a year for the last couple of years. I mean, and on top of that, like the TO for Smite Club for both Shatterpoint and MCP. So yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just like with this one, it's like, man, people have paid. People pay so much money to go to these things, between lodging and travel and the ticket itself. Whereas, like, I don't want people to feel like they've wasted their money to go to this event. Like, and that's the thing where it's like, I want to at least be like, okay, you got close to your money's worth, because sometimes you're not going to when you go to conventions. Sometimes you want to get the most out of it, but sometimes the cons just aren't. They don't live up to the hype or an expectation. But it's like, could I get you somewhere close to there with the events we're running? Is kind of like the hope.
Right, right. And again, I haven't done anything of this scale where I'm involved with this large of an organization where I'm actually running an event, right? We did
Mm.
we did streaming at Adepticon, but even that was part of PCN's network. That wasn't even just us doing it. So, I mean, this is definitely bigger. But also I've been running events of varying sizes for years for the library. And yes, my stuff was free, but let me tell you, Todd, I remember one of my favorite examples of not being quite prepared and having to switch on the fly. There was one year for the summer reading program that my boss was not prepared for the amount of interest in this dinosaur program we were running. And I ended like we had a line outside the surprise library going out into the parking lot, out into the park next door. Like 400 people showed up just to see these dinosaurs. To this day, I have no idea why so many people showed up. It was in
Dude,
the middle of the
dinosaurs are
week.
huge,
It
man.
was it was
Dinosaurs,
during
man.
the day.
Dinosaurs.
Like I mean, well, but I've done dinosaur programs before with this group. I don't know why this year was like 400. So we had to like rush off, go get water bottles, bring them back, cart water bottles out. People are yelling at us because they're out, and like we're talking summer reading program. So it was summer. They're out there. Like we tried to like bring the line inside the library, but there was too many people to like the line went around the whole interior and out snaking around. Oh man. So I understand. Like this was a free event and people were pissed at
Yeah.
us and I'm like, you all are here voluntarily and you didn't pay for this. Like we paid hundreds of dollars. I don't remember the price now for the vendor, but like like we paid for this. You can just leave. It's okay. Like so again, expectations or something, but we've done this before. It's
Yeah.
it's try to handle any of the pain points that are going to come up, because let me tell you, pain points are going to come up.
Yeah. They're going to.
Something's going to go wrong.
Hmm?
Longshanks might go down. Oh wait, let me knock on something. Let's not
Yeah,
let's
come on.
not have
That
that
did
happen.
happen at Adepticon last year. So let's not.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking of hypotheticals. That one got a little too close to real.
Right.
I'm just saying, like like a bathroom could get flooded right next to your tournament, and you have to move or something. I don't know. Like there could be weird stuff,
Yeah.
but more often than not, things are just you're just gonna handle it. We're just gonna handle them in the moment, deal with them. You
Yep.
know, uh,
I'm pretty good
it's
at
fine.
crisis
It's fine.
management, so like I'm sure we'll get through it. It's just a matter of it's one of those where it was like that one moment where I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's make sure, like, let's not screw this up for as like horribly, and hopefully it goes smooth. So, like I said, I want people to not walk away going, why the hell did I spend this money, type of a thing, and everything along those lines.
Hey, Todd. I could be cheeky for one moment. The event's gonna be better than the Shatterpoint event that was at this last year, right? I mean, come on, come
I
on.
think so. I think so. I don't know. We'll see. We'll ask Kenny, because Kenny was probably like the most vocal of the people I talked to about how bad it was last year. So we'll ask Kenny maybe at the end of the weekend. Like, did we at least improve upon the year before? And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, at least going with these events is at least trying to improve. I don't think the bar is very high to try and improve from last year. But that's kind of the goal. And I think you and I were like kind of brainstorming stuff, are looking forward to 2026 of different type of prizing and stuff that we can do now that we've kind of got a good base of terrain and everything like that, at least.
Right, right. Now, like this year was very much focused on can we hit the number of the terrain, and it sounds like with a little bit of community support, we're gonna be fine. And then next year, yeah, like I've got apparently I've got a couple of New Year's resolutions. One of them is gonna be learn how to use Blender better because I was trying to fiddle with some ideas we were talking about yesterday, and I got almost there. I got like halfway there. I just couldn't quite get the layers to come together. I this is mind you, this is me googling how do I do this in Blender and then following the instructions and seeing if it would work. Like that was the amount of knowledge I had on the subject. So I
Yeah,
got the fact that I got halfway there without breaking anything was all right. So
right.
we're gonna work on some different stuff, and we're already thinking of ideas, and it's the important thing is all right, everybody. I know this is a big competitive event. I know this is a big con. I know you spent a lot of money. Remember, you're supposed to have fun. This is
Yeah,
supposed to be fun.
it's supposed to be. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Uh, hey,
There's always
I have to remind the storytime moms of this sometimes because there's two types of moms. There's the tired mom, or sorry, parent, because I do get dads sometimes too. There's two types of parents. There's the super exhausted one who just barely dragged their kid in and they collapse in a puddle in the corner and hope their kid survives story time. And that's the extent of the parenting that's happening is that they hope they survive. And then there's the parent who is like, all right, we are here, we are dressed, we got everything on, you are gonna read and you're gonna like it. And it's like, calm down. This is this is supposed to be fun for your child. This is not boot camp for babies.
right. Yeah, there's a lot of that happens. I mean, so like that's, but we'll see. I mean, I think for the most part, like our community, the Shatterpoint community as a whole is really nice and really good and really welcoming. So I think for the most part, it should go pretty well. So but we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm optimistic that it'll be a fun event for everyone, but we'll see. We'll go over what, we'll see how everyone does. um but yeah, I know for me, like the biggest thing I want to do, like especially today, and try and get this out, like I said, on Monday, was to go over some of the things, because ever since the player packet dropped, um I've gotten a couple of emails. I mean, and partially that's just because I'm the only person listed as the point of contact in the player packet. So, and by all means, if anybody has questions, please reach out to me. I think I've usually responded to the emails within 24 hours, if not faster. You can always get me on Discord if you have questions as well. So there's definitely some stuff going. Like you can always ask questions. The biggest question I think that I've gotten is in regards to the standard that says, in the player packet, in regards to the two or the three paint standard. Um, and I definitely want to address that, because in the GT packet, in the Premier rules, in the core rules, any rules that revolve, like that AMG has put out, there is nothing in regards to paint, or any painting standard. Now, keep in mind, Frontline Gaming, they're big. The biggest thing they do, and they're a sponsor, for this event, is Games Workshop. And anybody that's played a Games Workshop game knows Games Workshop has a three paint standard. We didn't write the full packet, so I don't believe we put anything about a three paint standard when we wrote the rule packet ourselves. Um, so all of that said, if you show up with an unpainted model because that's what you want to play, and you haven't had time to paint it, I'm okay. I'm not going to stop you from playing, that. I mean, there are prizes for the play it painted in the GT, but I'm not going to stop someone who paid hundreds of dollars for like to get there, hundreds of dollars for lodging, and over $100 probably for the event itself. I'm not going to stop you from playing the things that you want to play just because you didn't have time to paint it. I don't
Uh,
know how else I can say that.
and I'm not remembering, so this may just have been my fault. I did copy and paste some of the language that we used in the packet from the Legion guys. And I don't know, but Legion doesn't have is an AMG game, so they don't have that standard either. So maybe it got added. I'm going off the cuff here. I don't remember where that came from, but I think it was either like because I copied some of the language from both Adepticon and from the Legion packet, and it's
Mhm,
possible that I'm the one that threw that in there because that's like how the standard was written. But
mhm.
regardless, that no, like I mean, we are going. We are going to let rogue support make fun of you if you show up with an unpainted model, but that's on them. That's not on us. We'll let rogue support handle the gray model police, and by which you're just going to get a good ribbing and then they're going to walk by.
Yeah, but overall, like I said, I mean, like if you look at the Premier Showdown event rules, painting is not mentioned. If you look at the core rules for Shatterpoint, there's nothing about painting. Um, so I'm not going. Like I said, that's not a big concern of mine. There will be a table that's going to be recording games. I believe Omnis wants to record games so that he can put those up because he's been doing a lot of stuff with that. So the record table, if you're wanting to be on the record table, by all means, we're going to want to have a fully painted army for that, just for the aesthetics of it for his videos, to make sure that he's, got good content that he can put out. So other than that, though, no, I don't see that being something that's going to be an issue. um I don't know, I don't think that I think that covers about that piece of it. The other big question I get is about Longshanks. I have created the Longshanks, but one of the things that I've seen happen, especially like on the MCP side for LVO, is people are say, yes, I'm going to make it, and then life happens and they don't show up. And then so I don't want to be on the day of the event trying to track down that person and having to do repairings because the person that I thought was there wasn't there. So the Longshanks will go live probably the night before each event, just so that we can make sure that the people that are that are there and registered for the event are actually there, and not that it was someone that registered and then a flight got canceled and they couldn't make it. Or I mean, because it is wintertime, and if you're flying out of Chicago, if you've ever flown out of Chicago in the winter, you know that flights get delayed. Um, so that's the biggest thing that I like to do. That is that I want to make sure that the events run timely, and having to track down people and do repairings. And if you've ever been in an event where you have to do a repairing, everyone's miserable about it because you get set up and then you realize someone's not there. Now you have to unpack everything else up and move. I don't want to do that, because that's just a bad feel for everybody.
Yeah, no, thank you. And again, just to point out, if it was me who put that sorry to go back to it. If it was me who put the three color standard in, that is what Adepticon says. Because I know I reviewed the Adepticon documents when I was trying to write our own, because I didn't want to make it any more confusing than it was already going to be for some of the like rules that we were doing. So it's
Mhm.
possible that I just took it from the Adepticon policy, which to be clear, in that document it says it's Adepticon's model policy, not AMG's model policy.
Mhm.
So
And this
again,
might
no,
be
no,
this might be an upfront line gaming policy, to be fair.
right. We run in Shatterpoint. We're not running the whole thing, okay? So
Right,
just
right,
stay in the Shatterpoint corner. You'll be fine.
right. And I mean, like I said, I mean, I will, by the letter of the law, if that's what like frontline gaming says I have to do, that's what I have to do. But I have to watch 64 people play, so if I miss one person who doesn't have a painted model, okay, they'll fire me, and then I don't get paid. Wait, I don't get paid anyway. So there's
Hey,
that.
I didn't see anything, Todd. What are you talking about? I didn't
Exactly.
see a single thing. And also, now to go on to the topic of last minute stuff. When I went to Korea, I didn't get to go travel to the DNZ, right? DMZ,
DMZ.
demilitarized zone, DMZ, whatever. Not the DNZ. What
Your
the heck?
non-military knowledge is showing, Aubrey.
Whatever. Yeah, no. In case anyone hasn't figured this out by now, no knowledge of the military. I asked Todd about this stuff. Like, mine is all theoretical from books. Anyway, and most of it's fantasy books, so it's probably not accurate anyway. Where was I? I had the joy and privilege of my flight from Reno, Nevada to California got delayed because of fog in California. And then I got to run to the gate to try and get to my flight, and I got to watch the flight to Korea pull away from the gate and leave, and I got to be stuck in San Francisco, a place I've been to a million times before, for a whole day because there's only one international flight to Korea out of that airport every day. So I got to wait the full day for the next flight. So I'm just saying, stuff happens, life happens. This is
But
why
there's more than the
we're
nice thing is there's more than one flight to Vegas every day.
wait, what? Yes, remember, you're also going to be in Vegas. If something goes wrong, go shake it off, go to a table, go get a drink of your choice.
If
Like
something's going
like
wrong, and like we play a game of revolving around dice and cards, if something's going wrong, going to the tables might not be a good thing. You don't want to. You don't want to
yeah,
take
yeah,
that
if
bad
your
luck.
game yeah. Yeah, if your game is going wrong and your dice are a little cold, okay, maybe don't leave the floor. Just go look at the vendors or go go outside and look at the sky. Like remember this is a con. Con rules are in effect. You know, bring your water, bring snacks, make sure to take breaks. Go touch a tree. Are there trees in Vegas?
Of course there is. They
Todd,
have
I
palm
don't
trees
know.
everywhere. Yeah. It
Oh
might be
yeah,
they
yeah,
might be
right. Palm
fake trees
trees.
too. They might be fake trees too. There's probably a lot of those like fake statues and stuff. So, but yeah. And if you haven't been to LVO, the walk from the casino floor to actually the convention hall is significantly longer than you would think it should be. So be prepared for a little to put some steps in because it is a like I know the first time I walked, I'm like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Just kept on walking. So it is a significant walk just with it without even leaving the building. So just be prepared for that. It does take a little bit of time to get to where you're going from one place to the other and everything like that. It is Vegas. Um, the elevators, if you're staying in the Rio, the elevators sometimes can get they can get a line. They can get a line sometimes to get the elevators to go up. So there are little things to be prepared for. I mean, sometimes there's a lot of hurry up and wait sometimes. So just be prepared for those moments.
Yeah, yeah. That reminds me, Todd. We did kind of skip over how we're doing. You
Yeah.
just told me there's going to be a whole lot of walking. The I really am hoping. So, dear listeners, how I'm doing? I hit myself in the leg with my own scabbard during my last sword class. So and hard enough. I was doing a jump. It was a very acrobatic maneuver I was doing. Like there's multiple jumps in a row. At the
And
end
we
of the
know how
third one, I hit
acrobatic you
myself.
are.
Oh yes, I am. Famously, everyone. Reminder: I do sword fighting for my exercise because I'm bad at it, not because I'm good at it. This is me working on a weakness of mine. Spatial reasoning and vectors and physics are not my strong suits. So anyway, and this wasn't even the hard jump. Well, the maneuver, the series, the form I'm working on has a series of 3 jumps, and then somewhere in the middle there's a much harder jump. I wasn't even doing the harder jump. I was doing the jump that I've done. Like we have done this jump since like I've known how to do this particular maneuver, this technique for like 2.5 years, and I hurt myself doing it. So like dear sweet Todd was my nursemaid. He took me to the chiropractor because I couldn't drive the stick shift that I have access to because I've got a whole bunch of family stuff going on. The mother-in-law's got my car. The father-in-law and my fiance are in Kingman dealing with some family stuff, and I'm here, the invalid, going, Todd, may I please have a ride somewhere? because I cannot drive a stick. So you're telling me there's going to be extra walking? Yeah,
Mhm.
everybody, bring, for those of us who are older. Oh God, I hate
Get your
saying it like
ibuprofen
that.
ready.
Yeah, get your ibuprofen ready. Pack your meds. I'm sure y'all got different meds. Get get your toiletries. like do a check. Make sure you got that pillow you want for the hotel room. Or in my case, I've got this floor mat that I use when I'm playing. I wasn't planning on bringing it, but maybe I will, just so that I have something to stand on, because my leg's gonna probably get tired. Like, because I wasn't playing, so I was like, I probably don't need that. Like, we'll be sitting, standing, sitting, standing, sitting, standing. But
I don't sit a lot when ITO. I'm usually walking so much. So I mean, we'll probably figure it out because it is 3 days worth of events and stuff like that. So we'll probably try and work out times to be doing some sitting because I know like I don't know. I think on average I'm usually doing about 30,000 steps during an event that I TO, like especially the larger ones
yeah.
where I'm having to walk a little bit. So
Well, normally, Todd, I wouldn't care about standing the whole time. I mean, my job is a lot of event planning, and yes, famously, I stand through most of them. I don't like sitting because you've more. One, you have more visual of the situation, and then two, you're just moving all the time anyway. But I might have to make an exception depending on how I feel the day of. Like, I'm already okay. Sorry, I know some people get worried when I talk about the many misadventures of me and health and my physical body trying to yeet my soul out of it. Um, but I'm fine. I'm already doing a lot better today. Like, I just, it's not even that I can't put weight on it anymore. It's just that as I take a step, I sometimes have a sharp pain because I've like strained the calf, the back calf muscle on my left leg. Like, I don't know. It's fine.
yeah, but
It's
you
fine.
got enough
So I'm
time to
not trying to
recover. I
make.
think you'll be fine. Yeah, you should be fine by the time we get there.
Right. I already feel a lot better after going to the chiropractor yesterday and then waking up today. Like, I'm feeling good. I am most likely not going to attend my Monday sword class just to ensure I don't re-injure it. Like, just like I'm not gonna tempt fate twice in a row.
I think that's a
not,
good idea. I think that's a good idea.
not gonna do that. But everything's gonna be fine. Let's see. Oh, other preparation for those of you who absolutely cannot put minis on the table that aren't painted. Do you have them all painted? Are they ready to go? Because Todd, what have I been doing kind of nonstop for the past few days? Because I've been gimpy leg.
Yeah, just painting, base painting. So yeah, I mean, get your painting done.
Yep.
Have an emergency kit to repair your minis is always another thing. Like having
Yeah.
like glue because something. I mean, we have little tiny lightsabers that are gonna break. I mean, so having or just models like falling off of the base. So having a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of glue or some sort of a something to repair all of your minis as they go through the weekend. I mean, this is traveling. They're going to be jostling around and you're going to be having them going up and down from your hotel room or wherever you're staying. So, be prepared to maybe have to do an emergency repair to your minis is always an important thing too.
Yeah, and I have a few things of like plastic glue and like some super glue. I'll try to make sure to bring some stuff myself so that we have things available for players. But you know, like just in case, be extra prepared. Let's see. Don't forget your cards. Check all of your cards. Don't assume that you have them just because you had them at the last tournament. I
Right.
or also check for your minis, because at the last Mr. East tournament, I had to borrow Lando and R2 because I looked in my bin and I saw Chopper and I don't know, somebody else, and because I was just quickly glancing, because I grabbed the cards. I had all the cards, didn't have my minis, and you're traveling for this. So sit down, take an extra 5 minutes, double check that you have everything. Like, that's what I am going to do as soon as we get off. Actually, I am going to go through the bins, even though those bins have been sitting in that closet and packed and ready to go for a few weeks now. I'm going to go check them one more time to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So again, just do like what else do you need? You need your rulers, you need your dice, you need your tokens.
Yeah,
Like
just make sure you have everything. Just go through and do that last check like you're going to an event. But this is one where you can't just get in your car and run back unless you're Sarah Cruel or Dan, someone local. Like, I mean, I'll try and have stuff with me for people tomorrow. I mean, like I know, what was it, Jakester came out to our event for the GT out here, and forgot his Rex card and had to borrow like all the Rex card when we were here. So I mean, like if we can help you, we will, but try not to rely on that. Like try and
there,
make sure that you're
there's
ready.
yeah, there's 64 of you. If 10 of you forget Hunter, we can't help all of you, like, or whatever. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, or if it's Iden, you're on your own. I don't own that box. I don't truck with Imperials.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, the I think those were like that, and the other big one I think was like people trying. I don't know if they're trying to break frenemies or if they were just trying to not understand frenemies. Like there's been a lot of questions about frenemies. Like I can see you already shaking your head. Do you want to dive into this one?
Todd, they're trying to break frenemies. You know they're trying to break frenemies. I love you, you dorky nerds, but stop trying to break the rules. I know it's a thing that we love to do. Like I mean, this whole conversation reminds me of our friend Dayton.
Yes.
He's a magic player, but does Dayton ever play a straightforward strategy, Todd? Ever?
No, no. He tries to
No.
find the most busted combo possible that makes no sense to anybody but him, and he plays that. He does very well with it because he's a very good Magic player. But it's like, man, if you put your energy into playing what like everybody else plays, and just play the best deck instead of this crazy amalgamation of that you've come up with, you would be like a top pro. But you want to play the fun crazy combo. So yeah.
Yes. So again, just remember that the spirit of the Frenemies event is like this is not the GT. This is not a Premier Showdown. This is supposed to be more of a fun event. Like, yes, you get the bragging rights of saying you won Frenemies at LVO. Like, we will pat you on the head and give you your prize, but please, please, just remember it that we're trying to make it a different game mode almost. Like we're trying to make it so that you can't break things. I'm looking at you, Lando, but it's just gonna be what it is. Somebody's probably gonna figure out something that we haven't thought about because this isn't a standard way of playing. Like
Mhm.
I have never played in a yeah, no, I've never played in a frenemies event. I don't know. I mean, like it's really just supposed to be fun. Please let it be
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, I mean, it really is like as you read it, that's what it is. It's like there's, I think we have what, six major factions, seven. It's the Republic, Separatist, Rebel Alliance, Empire, Bounty Hunters, Dathomirian, Mandalorian. Your one squad has to have all of one of those tags. Your other squad has to have all of one of those tags as well, but nobody can share the tag. Like from one squad to another, you can't have a a tag that carries over. So I don't think there's like a bounty hunter Dathomirian. There's a bounty hunter Mandalorian, which is Mando. So like you couldn't run like a Cad Bane like squad with a Mando's list, or like it takes Vader 1 out of the equation because he has both tags if you were trying to run Galactic Republic and Empire, but you could run Galactic Republic or Empire and Rebels, so there's things like that. So that's basically just have fun with it. Like is really what we,
uh,
we wanted to make this a fun event.
I would like to point out if you're looking at the spirit of the event, because the Adepticon rules have dropped, you now can read their version of this event. And I have to say, theirs is technically slightly less restrictive than ours. We are more restrictive just because we are trying to keep you all from breaking this thing and having some busted squad that technically is within the language of the law but not really within the spirit of the law. And I know there's at least one person who's going, well, actually winning is fun and that's what I'm going to do. But
Yeah.
okay. Well, congratulations. I just please remember that everyone else is also there to have fun, and their definition of fun may not be a baby seal getting clubbed repeatedly because you figured out how to use Gideon Hask with Ewoks. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the weirdest. I'm trying to think of the weirdest thing that could possibly happen.
Yeah. And to be fair, Adepticon is going to have twice as many judges as we do. They have a head TO and 5 judges and an admin just for Shatterpoint. So yeah, they're going to be able to sit there and they can be less restrictive to the and it's a larger event, so they probably they need to make it a little bit less restrictive. We'll see, like I said, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, it's meant to be a fun event. It's not meant to be that. That one is just going to be a 4-rounder. So it's going to be something that I'm hoping we can get everybody out so they of that one early enough to kind of get ready, because Saturday is going to be a long day.
Ooh.
Saturday, by the letter of the law for the GT packet, because we're going to have between 32 and 64 players, the GT itself is going to have to be 5 rounds with a cut to top 8. So yes, we're going to have to do 5 rounds of this one. I'm quite positive the people that are probably not going to be in the cut, like after round 3 or 4, are probably going to end up dropping. And we'll probably be down to just like maybe half the tables probably at that point in time, which is understandable. I mean, it's going to be a long day for the people that are going to be making that top 8. So definitely just be prepared, drink your water, get ready for that one. That's going to be a that's going to be a grinder. I mean, we're going to try and get some time in between each rounds for people to decompress and prepare. I have plans to like kind of maybe make this a little bit easier for next year, but we'll see what happens with all of that. And then of course the team event is on Sunday, like we've always discussed. That one's just going to be again a little more casual, more just like if you didn't make the top 8, you can definitely do that. We have had questions about that one though as well. If you don't make the top 8 and you don't already have someone to give you to team up with, come and meet us up at the main table. We will try and work with you to sit there and pair people up and try and get people to where they're not running the same squads. There might be some carryover between the different squads and stuff like that. We'll try to avoid that as much as possible, but we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to play. So we will definitely be working to try and get people paired up together for the team event. It should be pretty easy because it's a 2v2. It's not like um, the WTC format where there's like 3 separate players at 3 different tables. We might transition to that next year once they have another year worth of releases of models. I think that point in time will be really good to do a restrictive like list like that. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to that. So definitely, if you need help on Sunday trying to find a teammate, we will do everything in our power to help you find a teammate. Worst case scenario, if we have an odd number, maybe just Aubrey is going to be your pet partner, and we just have to take him away or something like that. I mean, I know that's a
uh,
handicap for some people, so
I'm so
maybe we
yeah. I
won't do
was
that.
gonna say I'm sorry. I'm sorry to whomever ends up getting paired with me. I mean, I'm bringing rebels. I'm bringing rebels. So at least it's something I've been playing recently. It's not something crazy. And they're all mostly, at least they have the first layer of paint on them. Like
There you go.
right now, my Callus looks a little bit like Old Man Logan and also a little more Sithy than he should be. But that's all right. I did not get gray enough in my gray. It was way too dark. Like it looked good going on, and then as it was drying, I was like, that's not right. But then we Todd also had to help me with faces because I wasn't doing so great with
Well,
one of
okay,
my
so
faces.
for the story there, your paint, I think one of the more challenging things to do is flesh tones. And then you add on top of that dark flesh tones like people of color. That adds a whole new level to to flesh tones and stuff like that. The funny thing is like, and I can't say this without sounding a little weird, I am better at the dark skin flesh tones than people that aren't my color because I'm used to seeing myself in the mirror. So it's like I can sit there and pull that out. I mean, because there's a lot of people that are like, man, you like back when I played MCP, they're like, wow, you painted Luke Cage really well. I'm like, well, there's
Yeah,
I see that
he
color
looks
on a
familiar.
daily
He looks familiar.
not in the
Yeah.
muscular way, but in the skin tone way, yes. So
I so full the rest of the story is okay. So I have this thing where I really I know we have like the box pictures and stuff, but a lot of times I try to paint my models to match the art on the cards. And if you look at the Rebel Commando art card, it's different. It's a different character from the one that's actually like on the box or whatever. And so I was trying to get my model to match that character for like full disclosure. Like go look at your Rebel Commando card. You'll see what I'm talking about.
and
And
instead you just
so
got a white dude with a really bad sunburn, yeah.
yeah. It's all right. I'm working. It's practice. I just didn't want it. I just didn't want him to turn. Or I think it's the girl one. But anyway, whatever. I just didn't want the commando to turn out like my base window because he's got a really shiny bald head. like he's
It's a
really shiny
freshly shaven. That's all. It's a freshly shaven head. It
and
happens.
and like he looks more like chocolate than like a human being. And so again I was trying to
Samuel L. Jackson
make it
is
look
chocolate goodness. It's okay. You just say Samuel L. the chocolate goodness that you are. This is why I painted you this way.
yeah. Anyway, wait, what were we talking about? We just
I
started
don't
talking
know.
about, I don't even know why we started talking about this, Todd.
Well, we're kind of at the end of like the main things that I wanted to cover anyway. That's why we go off the rails. That's what we do, Aubrey. We go off the rails. I think anybody that's
I
still
lost the thread.
right, anybody that's still listening to us should know by now that we're not going to sit there and be like that well-oiled machine that sits there and goes over everything. Like I said, I kind of just wanted to cover some of the important pieces of like the big questions I've been getting, that because if someone's emailing me about it, then more than likely someone else has that question that just hasn't decided to email me as well. So I definitely wanted those questions that I've seen that come up like in different, either within emails or in different discords. I just wanted to make sure that we kind of touched on those. I mean, are there ones that you've seen that I'm missing? Because I don't think there's any other ones that like I'm off the top of my head thinking of. Because yeah, like
I'm
there's
trying. I think there's the usual stuff on terrain. Oh, I remember. It was because we were talking about me teaming up with somebody. Well, don't worry. I'll work out my rebel's face. That's right. But I mean, there's always going to be stuff about terrain. And remember, like the official stance is work it out with your opponent. And if you call us over, we're gonna rule a certain way. But remember that it's probably better to just work out the terrain stuff with your opponent in the moment. I know that uh, AMG has deliberately left some things up to our interpretation. And so, I mean, if you can't come to an agreement with your opponent, yes, call us over. Uh, just bear in mind that some of the decisions we might make about terrain are going to be arbitrary, and I'm sure Todd's going to talk about this at the players meeting in more depth. I'm just kind of reminding you because this is probably one of my least favorite aspect of playing in tournaments is the whole like pregame. All right, can we shove through this or not? Where are the ingress points? What is this terrain? Is this thing range 2? I mean, I'm dealing with that right now because I printed out that Star Speeder finally from Star Tours, and it's like it it is like technically like an nth of a millimeter short, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Because I forgot that it like slopes like when I was looking at the measurements.
Mhm.
So it's another one of those
just
what
just put
another one
just
of
put
those
a
terrain
base underneath it.
pieces.
Just get some
Yeah,
bases, put that underneath it, and then it raises it up high
yeah.
enough. So
Yeah,
then it's
that's
hovering.
that's that's ex- yes, that's exactly what's gonna happen. It'll be fine. I'm just annoyed that I keep running into this like I check the measurement and it's range 2, but then I forget that like the majority of the model is actually underneath its like top point on its
Mhm.
uh, as I was saying in our Discord the other day, I'm trying to make cool tables but also functional tables that don't give players headaches, and it seems that the Venn diagram is not there yet.
I, I
You can either
I
have
think
cool tables or tables that don't hurt people.
you well, and your cool tables are Aubrey cool tables where you're like, oh, that would be cool on this table. And then you see another thing go, oh, that would be cool. So you take all these different things that don't necessarily go together and then throw them all together. And so that's, yeah.
I'm sorry to report, dear listeners, I did not finish the Aubrey table in time to bring it to LVO this year. To be clear, the table was not going to be for the tournament. You know, there's always like one or two tables you set up because players are going to try and get pick up matches or just practice deployment or do things. So we were going to have like one or two tables set up as extra,
Mhm.
also just in case you have to audible. I don't like again the weird stuff that could happen. Somebody throws their bag down and their water bottle goes flying out of it and destroys a whole table. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. But that's another reason for you to like spoilers. The other reason you have an extra table or two set up is for shenanigans. Like I promise you, we're trying to plan for every conceivable thing to make sure the event keeps running.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I said, since this is our first year at LVO, it's like part of the thing I'm looking at is like the scheduling and like how the schedule is going to work out. Because I
Yeah.
think we're going to try and do something not different, but adding on, so to speak. So I know there's been a lot of talk of like, they have the invitational for like Legion and for MCP. They have the LVO invitationals. Um, there's been like on that side of things, people have been wanting, especially some people have been thinking about wanting to have the Shatterpoint have an invitational as well, and how we're going to add in the invitational and still have the GT and still have.
The
So
fun events.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's, I mean, in MCP is able to do it, but they have like four very consistent judges that are always there and like that can run oh my gosh, I can't think of her name right now. But she runs all of the events for all like the kind of the side events, and then Omnis is usually running like the main events, like the LCQ, and he's like overseeing the invitational. So they have more judges in place for stuff like that. So I mean, maybe as we grow, we're able to sit there, maybe get somewhat like one or two more people on, so we can make stuff like that happen. Hopefully we'll get more tickets after this year too, so like we'll be able to sit there and maybe if like you don't want to play in the GT, or you're not actually qualifying for the invitational, you would end up playing in something like you could play in like a frenemies event, or um, we'll think of other things. I think there's other ways to do it. I mean, there might be like a three mirror event. We might be able to sit there and throw one of those in there as well, because I think those are really cool. So we'll see. I mean, we might just be able to do like on demand three mirrors or something, which would probably be kind of neat. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I
the
said,
biggest the biggest thing about that, everybody, is just remember that you all want to play. Like, don't get me wrong, I also would like to go and play. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't. It's too long of days, and I get too burnt out. But like,
you like the
my point
idea
is
of
I
playing.
understand. Yes, yes. I like the idea of playing at LVO, so I get it. Like, it's actually hard to get somebody who is willing to be like, I am going to go spend all day at the convention and not put a single mini on the table. That's a tall ask. Like we've already had like we've had to kind of audible a little bit with who we're having for judging. Don't worry, we got people for judging. I'm not worried about that. But like it's just a thing that is probably the most difficult part of the tournament organization. Ironically, it's not the I know I've been fighting with 3D printers, and Todd's been painting so much he's now an expert rattle can artist, like that he's now qualified to have that on his resume. But like getting people to actually show up, like even some of the people who are going to help us have had to change their schedules, and like maybe they're there for half the event, they're not there for the whole event. And it it's just one of those behind the scene things that you don't really think about unless you're the one doing the organization. I've had to do this at the library. I remember after COVID, I had like 80 people show up to my first Pokemon club that I ran. I usually run that event by myself because it's like 20 to 30 people. Can you imagine teaching a room of 80 parents and kids the Pokemon card game simultaneously all at once by yourself? Ooh, that did not go well. I literally had to stop halfway through the event and go, everybody, I'm sorry. I was not expecting you all. Like I announced that in the middle of the event because it like you just I needed like 3 more bodies and I didn't have them because I was not expecting that much of a turnout. But COVID did COVID things.
Yeah, I mean logistics happen. I mean that's just the truth of any a tournament and any event. That you're going to have logistical things that pop up here and there, but we'll make it work. I mean, we'll try and make it run as smoothly as possible and as seamlessly as possible, and hopefully does not impact anybody with that. So because like I said, I think we've all done some event. You and I have had our share of running events and things like that. So, like I said, be patient with us. This is our first LVO. Don't come after us with any type of murderous intent, and we'll try and do the best we can for you.
But do give us feedback. Hey,
Mm.
again, literally, I at least have never done anything exactly like this before. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of experience, 13 years in my job doing events, but not like this, not at this scale, not this type, not this big of an organization. I mean, at least I got Todd holding my hand the whole way, but again, like we're probably gonna make a mistake, or we're gonna find out that something in the schedule just really didn't work, or we forget to tell you something during the player meeting. Like it's okay, just come and ask more questions, communicate with us. Feel free to drop in the Discord and give us feedback after the event. Like the whole point is we want to iterate on this. Like we haven't even done this event and we're already talking about what we may or may not do for next year. So we are already noticing little things that could be improved upon. Like even this 3 paint standard thing, like that got thrown into the document and it sounds like either FLG, that was an FLG thing that we didn't know about, or it's not an FLG thing and we didn't need to have it in there. Hopefully it's just little stuff like that that will get ironed out for later on.
Right, exactly. And that's one of the things, like talking about the player meeting. Like I've actually was like sitting up last night, like taking notes, like, okay, what do I need to talk about? What do I need to talk about? So like I said, we're trying to try and be as prepared as possible, and try and give you guys the best event we possibly can. But I think that covers everything I wanted to talk about, Aubrey. I don't like this actually went almost an hour, which was surprising. Didn't think we'd talk this long about LVO and everything, but here we are. Did you have anything else, last minute stuff that you wanted to jump on?
I would just like to say that if you ever need a meeting to go twice as long as you need it to be, I am here for you.
That is probably the truth. But yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to seeing everybody at LVO. Definitely come up and say hi at some point in time. I will, like I said, I'll be there Wednesday. The doors are going to open for that on Thursday, so we'll have tables for like just casual play for people that just want to come and hang out and get some games going and stuff like that. So definitely, yeah, come and show up, have a good time, see the vendors, and then get ready for 3 days of nonstop Shatterpoint dice rolling, and it'll go from there. But other than that, just to kind of close things out, as always, I'd like to thank all of our listeners. Thank you for tuning in, listening to the nonsense that we like to ramble from day to day and from time to time. We do appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to support us, the best way you can is to join our Patreon. It is as little as $1 a month to basically kind of help us pay the bills, keep us running, up and running, and everything along those lines. If you do not want to be a patron, by all means, we definitely understand that that is not for everyone, but you can definitely still support us by rating and reviewing the podcast on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on, or if you're watching us on the YouTubes, you can like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think there. But other than that, as always, I do want to thank you again for listening, and may the force be with you.
And hey, if you're going to be at LVO, come say hi to us, and may the force be with you.
All right.